Hello, everyone. This is Ice Hero. Welcome to another video. I don't know why I thought of this idea. I don't know why. Why am I doing this? I don't know why, honestly. But today we're going to be reading the entire Paradox Interactive Terms and Conditions. Literally, no edits. I'll just read straight forward. I promise you, there will be no edits. I don't know what's going on in my life. This is gonna take a good 20-30 minutes. So, before we get into this video, please hit that like and hit that subscribe button. I don't even know what I'm saying because I'm gonna do really bad at reading. I just don't know. I'm just gonna already have horrible reading. But just hit the like and subscribe button, and then hit that little bell, join the notification squad and all that. But I hope this channel doesn't turn into MrBeast. I mean, he lives in North Carolina technically, so just like me, I don't know. I think there's some kind of North Carolina cancer going on. But other than that, let's get into the video. Oh, it's gonna take a while. Number 1, your account. In order to access the service, you must create a Paradox account. Parentheses an account. You must be at least 16 years of age to create an account, and if you are between 16 and 18 years of age, you must get your parents or legal guardian's consent prior to creating such account. With regard to your registration for an account, you acknowledge and agree that you will A. Provide true, accurate, current, and complete information as requested by the registration form, and B. Maintain and update this registration information to keep it true, accurate, current, and complete. You're responsible for maintaining the confidentiality of your password and for restricting unauthorized access to your computer, and you hereby accept sole responsibility for all activities that occur under your account, unless as otherwise specified hereunder. When you choose a foreign name or other nickname for our services, we ask that you do not use your own or another person's real name or name protected by copyright or trademark. You acknowledge and agree that, to the fullest extent permissible under applicable law, you shall have no ownership or other interests in your account, and you further acknowledge and agree that all rights in and to the account are owned by and in your to benefit of Paradox. 2. Grant of license and restriction. The service may be used by you only for your personal, non-commercial use in accordance with these terms of use, unless otherwise explicitly stated herein. Nothing contained in these terms of use shall be construed as conferring by implication or otherwise any license or right to use any trademark, patent, design right, copyright, or other intellectual property rights of Paradox. You're granted a personal, limited, non-transferable, non-exclusive license to access the service, provided that you do not facilitate any third party to A. Modify, copy, reproduce, broadcast, republish, sell, resell, exploit, reverse engineer to the extent permitted by law, disassemble, create derivative works, or distribute in any way any portions of the service or any materials provided in the service, including but not limited to design and materials, including all text, still, and motion video, audio and audiovisual materials, artwork, graphics, code, and slash or software, including within any game, and all other copyrightable elements, the content other than as permitted under the EULA or these terms of use. B. Disrupt or assist in the disruption of any game and or service server or any game or service experience. C. Use, develop, distribute, or sell cheats, automation software, aka bots, hacks, or any unauthority software designed to modify game, exploit the game, the services, or any of its parts for any commercial purpose other than as permitted under the EULA, including without limitation. A. Use at a cyber cafe, computer gaming center, or any other location-based site. B. For gathering additional services, including in-game currency, items, or resources for sale outside the game, and or performing in-game services in exchange for payment outside the game, e.g. power leveling. Removing, disable, or circumvent any security protections such as digital rights management, known as DRM. Uh, Sorry about that, but sometimes my Discord crashes, so let's just continue here. Proprietary notices or labels contained on or within the game. Use any obscene, pornographic, provocative, or racist language or material in the game or on the communications facilities as defined below. Or use any meta tags or any other hidden text utilizing Paradox's name or trademark. The grant of this limited license is conditional upon your agreement and complements with all these terms of use. Paradox may suspend or deactivate your account at any time for any or no reason, with or without notice to you. Unauthorized or prohibit use of the service or the content may be a violation of criminal or civil law. Paradox reserves the right to add, modify, or delete any or all functionalities of the service at any time. Paradox makes no representation or warranty as to the completeness of accuracy of the information provided to you through your use of the service, nor do we represent or warrant that the service will be available and error-free at all times. 3. Communication facilities. Through some of the Paradox sites, community forums, and games, you may communicate with other users of the service and players of the game's communication facilities. You agree only to use the communications facilities to post, receive, or send messages in connection with the game. You agree that you will not transmit messages which are offensive, unlawful, harassing, defamatory, vulgar, obscene, hateful, sexually explicit, or otherwise objectionable. Post advertisements to sell goods or services. C. Impersonate any real person, including without limitation an agent of Paradox, or otherwise communicate in the communication services in any way designed to make other people believe that your messages constitutes a server message or was otherwise posted by a representative of Paradox. D. Engage in trolling. E. Engage in spamming, double posting, cross posting, or resurrecting old posts. F. Hack any communication facility or exploit any bugs in C. Or upload files that contain software or other material protected by intellectual property laws or by rights of policy, privacy, and publicity unless you own or control the rights thereto or have received all necessary consents. Additional rules in connection with the communication facilities may be posted within such facilities. Paradox reserves the right to review materials posted to communication facilities and to remove any materials at any time without notice. And for the reason and in its sole discretion, statements made by the users in the communication facilities reflect only the view of the other authors, and Paradox specifically disclaims any liability with regard to communication facilities and any action resulting from your participation in the communication facilities. Paradox is not responsible for information that you choose to communicate to other users via the communication services for the actions of other users. 4. Additional services. Additional services mean services and in-game features acquired or purchased by the users can only be used in the game and under the conditions specified in these terms of use, such as, but not limited to, in-game currency or virtual goods. Additional services are not a necessary condition for participation in a game and are provided to your request. Avoidance of doubt, the terms of sale apply to purchase of all additional sales. In addition, as a condition to the use of additional services, user acknowledges and agrees that a weekly additional services limit, you may only purchase a total maximum of 10,000 US dollars of additional services per week. If Paradox has reason to believe or suspects they're performing illegal or fraudulent activities related payments for additional services in the game, Paradox has the right to provide relevant information to law enforcement bodies to investigate these suspicions. If Paradox has reason to believe or suspects that you are exploiting any defects in the game or services or using any software to impermissibly increase the amount of additional services, including in-game currency, or gain any advantage in the game, or Paradox has reason to believe or suspects that any increase of in-game currency originates from a flaw in the system relating to the game, Paradox has the right to take any action Paradox deems necessary, including immediately terminating your use of service and deleting your account, in which the entire account shall be deemed forfeited. If you are prohibited from receiving online game services by the legislation of your country or in case any other legal restrictions, including age restrictions, you shall not be allowed to use the game or additional services in the game. In any case, you shall be responsible for the use of the game in your country in accordance with local law. And E. User agrees, understands, and accepts that 1. This game is not a gambling, cash, contest, or betting game. 2. The purchase of additional services is not necessary or mandatory to participate in the game and the game process. And 3. The purchase of any additional services is at user's sole discretion. 5. User-generated content. You may be provided with the opportunity to create and submit content through game service or the site. User-generated content or UJC. User-generated content must not 1. Infringe any copyright, trademark, trade secret, patent, or any other proprietary right of any person or entity. Contain any viruses, Trojan horses, worms, corrupted files, or any other similar software and program. 3. Violate any law or regulation. Or 4. Violate any I think I lost. Or violate or be inconsistent with these terms of use. The EU will lay the rules of conduct or our privacy policy by uploading or otherwise publishing your UGC. You hereby grant a Paradox a non-exclusive, irrevocable, royalty-free, sub-licensable, perpetual right to use, reproduce, modify, create, derivative works from, distribute, transmit, broadcast, and otherwise communicate publicly display, and publicly perform your UGC, and deviate works on UGC in connection with the operation and promotion of the game, site, or service. Paradox is under no obligation to continue to distribute user-generated content. You understand that Paradox may restrict or remove your UGC for any reason. You represent and warn that the UGC and your grant of rights in such UGC does not violate any applicable contract, law, or regulation, and that the UGC is your original work and does not infringe any third-party intellectual property rights or any other rights. Paradox specifically disclaims any liability with regard to user-generated content. Anyone who believes that their original work has been reproduced as UGC through one of our games, service, or sites in a way that constitutes copyright infringement may notify us by contacting support. Alright, boys, 6 is long. 6. Mods. First, we at Paradox love user modding and monster of games and want to encourage you to mod. We see benefits for everyone involved. The EULA and these terms of use outlines under which conditions you may create and distribute mods of Paradox games. Paradox is not always owner of the intellectual property into a game which it publishes, and therefore Paradox cannot unconditionally allow modding to all games published by us. If you're unsure of which games are affected, please contact support. These terms of use applies to all mods, including mods distributed through third-party platforms such as Steam Workshop created by you. Paradox recognizes that you're the owner of the elements of the mod which are your original creative work. However, any elements of the mods which represent, derive from, or is based upon a game, for example, characters, setting, plot, artwork, sound, and locations, shall be owned by Paradox, and agreed that all right, title, and interest into shall vest with Paradox. To create mods, Paradox may make available mod tools to you, provided that you comply with these terms of use in the EULA. Upon the acceptance of the EULA, Paradox grants you to a non-exclusive, non-transferable, limited, revocable right and license to install, access, and use in-game modding tools and any other related tools provided by Paradox to you, including, for example, the clause with copyright my exporter. To create and distribute mods, any use of the mod tools and creation and publication of mods is for strictly non-commercial purposes only, and you may not require any fees but may receive voluntary donations for your creation, publication, and or mod. By publishing a mod based on a Paradox game, you hereby grant to Paradox and its affiliates a non-exclusive, royalty-free sub-license above perpetual right to use, reproduce, modify, create, derive works from, distribute, transmit, broadcast, and otherwise communicate, publicly display, and publicly perform your mod. Explicitly, the license shall include the right to make a mod publicly available through other channels of distribution, and the right to adopt a mod to be compatible with other platforms. This license shall survive termination of the EULA. The mod may not contain any materials which 1. Infringes any applicable law, 2. Resemble any recognizable third-party brand, character, personality, including but not limited to any trademark or logos except for those assets provided by Paradox. 3. Any third-party assets from other games published by Paradox and its affiliates or any other third party. 4. Any viruses, Trojan horses, worms, corrupted files, or any other similar software or program. 5. Is obscene, indecent, pornographic, offensive, defamatory, fraudulent, threatening, hate speech, liable to incite racial hatred, acts of terrorism or violence, menacing, blasphemous, or contains nudity or gracious or graphic violence. 7. Has been posted or published in breach of a third party's rights, including intellectual property rights. 8. Brings or is likely to bring Paradox, its affiliates, licenses, or licensors into disrepute, or 9. In relation to mods related to the game, City Skyline makes references to any organization whose principal business includes the sale of tobacco-related products, or firearms. 6. You represent and warrant that any mod created by you and your grant of right in such mod does not violate any applicable contract, law, or regulation, and that the mod is original creative work and does not infringe any third-party intellectual property rights or any other rights. Paradox specifically disclaims any liability with regards to any mod, and you agree to indemnify, defend, and hold Paradox and its affiliates, licensees, contractors, officers, directors, employees, and agents harmless from any damages, losses, costs, or expenses, including attorney fees, arising directly or indirectly from any acts of omissions associated with the use of any mod which you create or publish. We reserve the right to suspend access to or terminate your license for any mods published by you or modding tools provided by us. Paradox is under no obligation to use, distribute, or continue to distribute mods, and you understand that Paradox may restrict or remove your mod for any reason. Please note that other rules specific to a particular game or studio may also apply to mods based on Paradox games. For more information about Paradox Developing Studio modding guidelines, please visit our forum. Huge ass link. 7. Termination. If you fail to comply with any of the terms in the terms of use, the EULA and or the rules of conduct Paradox will provide you with a warning for non-compliance in case of a serious violation of the terms of use. The EULA or the rules of conduct or in a case or repeated cases of non-compliance, Paradox reserves the right to immediately terminate the service to you, including any additional services. You may terminate this service at any time by ceasing all use of the service. Any money you have paid for additional services are not subject to return in case of termination of a game, service, or site, or any termination due to non-compliance with these terms of use, the EULA or the rules of conduct. A disclaimer. The service is provided by Paradox on an as-is and as-available basis. To fullest extent permissible by applicable law, Paradox disclaims all warranties, whether express or implied, including but not limited to the warranties of merchantability, fitness for a particular purpose, and non-infringement. Without limiting the foregoing, Paradox makes no representation or warranty of any kind, express or implied, 1. As to operation of this site and or service, or the information, content, materials, or products including thereon. 2. That the service and or service will be continuous, uninterrupted, secure, or error-free. 3. As to the accuracy, reliability, or currency of any information, content, service, or products provided through the site and or service. Or 4. That the site and or service products download from the site and or service, Paradox servers, or emails sent from you on behalf of Paradox are free of viruses, scripts, Trojan horses, worms, or other harmful components. Some jurisdictions do not allow the exclusion of implied warranties or limitation on applicable statutory right of a consumer. So the above limitations may not apply to you. 9. Limitation of liability. In no event shall paradox be liable for any direct, indirect, special, punitive, incidental, exemplary, or consequential damage, or any damages whatsoever, even if paradox has been seriously advised of the possibility of such damage, whether in an action under contract, negligence, or any other theory arising out of or in connection with the use, inability to use, or performance of the information, services, products, and contents available from the service and or service. These limitations shall not apply notwithstanding any failure or of essential purpose of any limited remedy, because some jurisdictions do not allow the exclusion or okay, that was weird. I think I crashed again. Nice. Allow the exclusion of implied warranties or limitations on applicable statutory rights of a consumer. So the above exclusionary limitation may not apply to you. Oh wow, I messed up so badly. These crashed. Okay, just go to 10. We've pretty much finished 9. 10. Indemnification. Your use of service constitutes your agreement to defend, indemnify, and hold harmless paradox and its respective employees, contractors, officers, directors, licensees, sub-licensees, successors, and assigns from and against any action, claims, demands, liability, and expenses, including reasonable attorney's fees arising out of 1. Your breach of any of these terms of use, EULA, or rules of conduct. 2. Your use of misuse of the service, or 3. The use of misuse of the service, like by a third party using account, if such use or misuse is due to your failure at maintaining the security and confidentiality of your account, external sites, against site and slash or service may contain links to other sites on the internet, and you may be able to access this site and or service from other sites of the internet that are owned, operated by third-party vendors and other third-party. The external sites. You acknowledge that Paradigm does not review or evaluate all of the external sites and is not responsible for the accuracy, copyright, compliance, legality, decency, or appropriateness of the content on these external sites, nor is it responsible for advertising products or other material that appear on or offered by such websites. You should carefully review the respective terms of use and privacy policies of each of these external sites. Under no circumstances shall Paradox be held responsible, liable, directly or indirectly, for any loss of damages caused or alleged to have been caused by your use of or reliance on any content, goods, or services. 11. Electronic communications. When you visit the site, use the service, or send emails to us, you're communicating us electronically. You consent to receiving communication from us electronically in order to answer your inquiries and comments, to provide you with the invoice or game key, or with the general information regarding the service, any game or product. We will communicate with you by email or by posting notices on the site or in the communication facilities. You agree that all agreement notices, disclosures, and other note communications that we provide to electronically satisfy any legal requirement that such communication be in writing. Oh, my throat burned. 12. Updates to service. For the purpose of improving its products and services, Paradox will require you to download and install updates to service and to the games you have installed on your computer. You acknowledge and agree that Paradox may update the service and the games on your computer, with or without notification. 13. Equitable remedy. You agree that Paradox would be irreparably damaged in the terms of these terms of use were not specifically enforced, and therefore you agree that Paradox shall be entitled, without bond, other security, or proofs of damage, to prove equitable remedies with respect to breaches of these terms of use. In addition to such other remedies, Paradox may otherwise have available under applicable laws. This section shall survive the termination of these terms of use. 14. Severability. If any of these terms of use are determined to be illegal, invalid, or otherwise unenforceable by reasons of the laws of any state or country in which these terms of use are intended to be effective, then to extend in the jurisdiction in which that the term is illegal, invalid, or unenforceable, it shall be severed and deleted from these terms of use, and the remaining terms of use shall survive, remain in full power and effect, and continue to be binding and enforceable. 15. Waiver. Paradox failure to enforce any terms on these terms of use at any time shall in no way be constructed to be precedent future waiver of such term. 16. Governing laws/jurisdiction. These terms are used are governed by and construed in accordance with the laws of Sweden, without regard to its conflict of laws, rules, and principles. You agree to submit to personal jurisdiction of the Court of Stockholm, Sweden, for any cause of action arising out of or relating to these terms of use, and hereby waive any right to participate in any way of lawsuit brought and or but maintained as a class action or similar in nature to a class action, to the extent permissible by applicable law. 17. Modification of terms of use. Paradox shall have right as it sole discretion to modify any term or condition of these terms of use without notice or liability. Any changes to these terms of use shall be effective immediately upon posting of any such changes on the site or through the service. Please review these terms of use regularly to ensure that you're aware of any changes made by Paradox. Your continued use of the site after changes are posted means you agree to be legally bound by these terms of use as updated and amended. 18. Contacted us. If you have questions about these terms of use, the information and practices of Paradox, or otherwise in relation to dealings with Paradox, please contact us at www.paradoxplaza.com/support. Paradox Interactive AB, some name I can't say, 511827, Stockholm, Sweden. Oh my god. Oh, my throat burns. Why did I agree to do this? I don't know why. Oh, rip. Oh, my throat burns just so badly. I think I need a break. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like and subscribe button. I don't know if you even watched the entire thing, but if you had to skip, if you're still here, please type bicycle in the comment, please. I don't know, just my head burns. Spare my life. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.